Okay. Hi. We will get started again today. Just off the bat, I'll tell you, you can probably hear I have a stuffy nose. I got the whatever fall flu was going around with everybody. Um, but we have a great practice for today. I'm very excited. I taught this class earlier this morning and it was really helpful for me, even with the sickness that I have. So I'm happy to be here, happy to be teaching again. Um, since we have some new people on the call today, just introducing myself. My name is Kelsey. I'm a therapist in Washington State and also a yoga teacher. And so mental health on the mat is just a drop-in yoga class that you can do throughout your workday that integrates mental health tools and yoga practice. And I teach it every Thursday at noon, and then it's recorded so you can always find the video on the YouTube channel Love Meets Therapy. Um, the flow of the class, it's set up so everyone's videos are off, so you don't have to worry about anyone seeing your camera or anything like that. You can choose to follow along. Everything's an offering. You can choose to move your body in whatever way you want to do. You can stay for 10 minutes, stay for 15, stay for the whole hour, up to you. But we usually spend the first 15 minutes doing a meditation, and then we'll do a seated flow. I have a bench that I use, but if you're at your desk at work, you can do kind of a chair yoga. Um, and then the last 30 minutes will be a standing yoga flow. Okay, you can always type in the chat if you have any questions as we go through for today. Let's go ahead and find ourselves this meditation to begin with today. You can do laying down or seated or standing, whatever feels good for your body. We're just going to take some time since we're doing October and we've been doing somatic release. Today's theme is somatic release or body release of emotions. So we'll be tuning into our emotions today. And our first meditation is just to drop in and notice what we're feeling. So find that comfortable seat, that comfortable spot that you want to lay, or that comfortable area you want to stand. And just begin to allow yourself, invite yourself, welcome yourself to being present. And you can always do that by beginning to notice your breath. Allowing your breath to be however it wants to be today. Noticing the weight of gravity pulling you down to the earth. Noticing the earth rising up to meet your body, to hold you and support you. And however you've been breathing, see if you can begin to lengthen your exhale. Breathing out more slowly, relaxing just a little bit more. You're welcome for this meditation to continue to just notice your breathing. If you want to go on the emotional exploration, you can begin to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now, and how do I know that I'm feeling this? Begin to scan your body for any sensations that might be associated with this feeling. Notice any areas of tension, any areas of looseness or relaxation or freedom, any temperature changes, anything you can link back to an emotion you're wanting to explore. As you find this sensation, begin to give it your awareness and see if it wants to develop any visual quality. Maybe the emotion or the sensation has a shape or a color or a texture, or maybe a visual metaphor that wants to come through. Breathing into this and begin to acknowledge the shape, the color, the visual metaphor. Begin to build a relationship with it. Let it know that you see it, you hear it, you feel it. You're with it. And you can gently ask if it wants to say anything or share anything or offer anything in return to being witnessed. You can allow yourself to hear that or to just sit in silence and in the space. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. You can offer this part of you a little bit of gratitude that it was willing to be seen today, or just continue to hold space if nothing came up for you. You might offer that place in your body a gentle squeeze or some touch, letting it know that you'll come back to it, return to it later, another time. And continue now to deepen your breath. We'll take 3 big breaths to close our meditation practice for the day. Inhaling and exhaling, letting the emotion go, letting the sensation go. Inhaling, filling up your lungs. Exhaling, letting go of the awareness. One last big breath in. And exhaling, letting it all out. You can bring some light into your eyes if your eyes were closed. Welcome yourself back to this moment. For working with our emotions today, we'll be doing a yoga flow as usual. We're also going to do some somatic release of emotions, and I have a pillow to help me out today. So if you have a pillow around you, you can go ahead and grab that. If you don't have one, you don't need it. I'll cue how you can do it without a pillow also, but sometimes it's more fun to have props or something like that. We'll be working with the framework from Possibility Management, which was developed by Clinton Callahan, where instead of exploring the entire rainbow of emotions that exist, as therapists sometimes ask you to do, we're going to focus on 4 main emotions to simplify the process. So focusing on sad, glad, mad, and afraid. I'm going to move to my seat so we can begin our little seated flow for the day while you're grabbing your pillow and getting ready. For now, you can set that to the side. And we're going to begin, as always, just by bringing some awareness to our neck to support our neck, especially if you've been working at a desk all day or your computer all day. Go ahead and tuck your chin to your chest. Just let your head hang here for a moment. With your chin still tucked to your chest, go ahead and begin to roll your head from side to side. Just gentle little rolls, turning your right ear up to the ceiling, and then your left ear up to the ceiling. Moving your chin through a neutral spot, Lifting your chin to the sky, we're gonna inhale our arms up out to the side behind our head, behind our neck to support our head. So our chin is still reaching up. The weight of our head is in our hands, so we don't have to use our neck muscles. And we're going to continue the same gentle rolling from side to side, this time tucking your right ear into your right palm, left ear into your left palm, waking up your neck gently and slowly. Bringing your head to a neutral spot. You can use your head to place your chin back parallel to your floor, dropping your hands down to your lap, bringing your left ear to your left shoulder. And same thing here with your left ear towards your left shoulder. You can begin to move your head up and down, gently raising and lowering your chin to deepen the stretch on the right side. Bring your head to stillness. Bring your left hand up to the sky, bend in the elbow, and gently place the weight of your hand on top of your head. Not pulling here, just letting gravity do its work. Releasing that left hand down to the mat, passing back up through center. Noticing any subtle differences in your side bodies before dropping your right ear down to your right shoulder. Continuing the same thing on the opposite side, tucking your chin down and raising that chin up. Moving through at your own pace. Bringing your chin to stillness, reaching your right arm out, around, up, bending in the elbow, and letting the weight of your right hand work with gravity to gently deepen the stretch on the left side. Exhaling, releasing your hands down, bringing your head back up through a center neutral position. Go ahead and shrug both shoulders up to your ears. Round them back, roll them back, down and forward. Continue around. We're going to roll our shoulders in this direction 5 times. Switching directions, rolling your shoulders forward. Loosening up those shoulder muscles. Inhale, reach your arms forward, spread them out wide. Turn your palms to the sky, bend in the elbows, have your fingertips resting on your shoulders, and begin to roll those elbows around, creating a little bit of a different movement in your shoulders here. Switching directions, rolling them back, opening through the chest. As we're moving, being aware of when I say we're doing some emotional somatic release in today's class, what comes up for you? And just allowing that to be, just noticing that. Go ahead and release those hands down. We're going to bring our right foot center in front of us, crossing our left knee over top of our right knee, like we're sitting cross-legged. We're going to bring our left arm under in front of us, right arm over top, elbows stacked, knees stacked, back of your hands together in a seated eagle pose. Inhale, lift your elbows up, chin up to the sky. Feel the stretch in that lower back or in the lower part of your shoulder blades, maybe. Exhale, sink your elbows down to your lap, tuck your chin to your chest as you roll forward. Opening that back heart space. Inhaling, reaching up. We'll do two more here. Exhaling, rolling down, rounding down. Inhaling, reaching up. And exhaling, rounding down. Passing back up through center, untwisting your arms, uncrossing your legs, planting your left foot in front of your core. Right knee is going to go stacked over top of left knee. This time, right arm is going under, left elbow stacked on top of right elbow, backs of the palms touching. Find length through the crown of your head first as you sit up a little bit taller, then inhale, lifting your elbows, stretching up. Exhaling, tucking your chin to your chest, rolling on down. Inhaling to reach up. Exhaling to roll down. One last breath. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, rolling on down. Finding your way back to neutral, back to center. Go ahead and walk your feet to the edge, as wide as they can reach in your chair. So if you have arms on your chair, it might not be that far. Go ahead, inhale both your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, reach forward towards your toes. You can use your hands on your knees, slide them down, walk them down to help you get a little bit further. Maybe your hands reach all the way down to the floor, maybe they don't. Just let your head hang out here for a moment. Again, you can practice some subtle turning of your head, nodding, just being very gentle so as not to tweak your neck. Walk your hands over to the left side. Your right hand is going to stay down on your left ankle or on your left knee. So I'll demonstrate both. If it's on your left ankle, you're going to inhale your left arm up, looking up towards the sky. The other variation is to keep your right hand on your left knee and continue to twist and look up. Exhale to untwist both hands back down, reaching as far as they can go. Walking those hands over to the opposite side, reaching up this time with your right hand. Gaze is going to follow, opening to the right side. And breathing here. Again, the variations can be left hand on your ankle or left hand on your knee. Exhaling back down to center, rolling up through your spine. Inhaling those arms up. Exhale, dropping them both down to the left side. Right arm reaching up and over. Imagining a string pulling your elbow to the back to really open through the front of your chest as you do this side stretch. Bringing both arms back up to center and down to the opposite side. Looking up through that left arm, creating that openness in your heart space. Exhaling that arm back down to center. Beautiful. All right, we're going to go through a little seated flow that will repeat a few times. I'll introduce it today to reset between each of the emotions. We're going to be doing the same repeated flow. This is the seated version, and then we'll do the standing version in a little bit. Let's inhale our arms up through heart center. So placing your palms together in the middle of your chest. Continue inhaling them up straight. Lift with your shoulders While your hands are still clasped, roll your shoulders back, creating a little bit of a back bend in your upper back, sucking your belly button into your spine so that you're not dumping all that weight into your lower back. Exhale, forward fold. Reach down towards your knees or your toes. Inhale back up to center. Great. Go ahead and lift your left knee. Interlace your fingers around your left knee. Pull it closer to your chest as you reach up with your spine. Exhale, continue pulling it closer to your chest, this time tucking your chin down towards your knee. Releasing that foot down to the floor. You're going to inhale, hands passing through heart center, up again. Shoulders reaching back first, supporting your lower back. Exhaling into that forward fold one more time. Let your hands slide up your shins, up your knees, rounding in your spine, head being the last thing to come up. Then lifting your right foot as you interlace your fingers around your right knee and pull it closer to your chest. First, lengthen through your spine. Then exhale, pull your knee closer, tuck your chin to your chest and round down. Releasing this foot down, hands passing up your midline. Reaching up, shoulders down and back. Mini back bend here, exhaling forward fold. Let's do this one more time, rolling up through our spine. Lifting your left knee, interlacing your fingers around that left knee, reaching with the crown of your head. Exhaling, pulling your knee closer to your chest, tucking your chin to your chest. Lowering your foot down, passing your hands together up through your midline. Rolling those shoulders back, chin to the sky. Exhaling into your forward fold. Rounding up through your spine. Lifting your right leg, right knee, interlacing those fingers around, creating length in your spine first, then exhaling, chin to your knee. Inhaling back up to center, releasing that foot down, sending your hands up through your midline, reaching up, mini back bend, exhaling forward fold. Rolling up, stacking your vertebrae on top of each other, letting your head be the last thing that rolls up. Beautiful. Okay, just to get a little bit more stretching in, we're going to cross our left ankle over top of our right knee, building length in our spine, using your hands on your legs to support you as you hinge forward at the hips. Getting a little bit of a stretch here in your left glute. Pressing back up to neutral, letting your left foot down to the floor, lifting that right foot over your left ankle. Hands supporting yourself, find your length first, then hinge at the hips and lean forward. All right. We're going to move to our standing flow a little bit early today so that we have time to get through all of the different somatic tools. If you need to adjust your situation, move your chair out of the way, get your mat set up, you can go ahead and do that now. If you're able to find the pillow, you can just have it nearby. I'm going to leave mine by the head of my mat here, the back of my mat. We'll start all together at the back of our mat. And the first thing I'll teach is our vinyasa flow that will help us reset as we go through the different emotions today. Finding a good, solid, stable mountain pose at the back of your mat. Stacking your joints on top of each other, finding that place where you're in alignment with gravity, palms facing forward. On an inhale, raise your arms up, sweeping them forward, clasping your hands together, just like we did when we were seated. Reaching those arms up, rolling those shoulders back first, sucking your belly button in towards your spine, squeezing your legs together. It's all right if your feet are apart, just the energy of pulling your legs together to support your core in this little mini back bend. Exhale, send your arms down, hinge at your hips, come into a forward fold. Go ahead and wrap opposite hands around your elbows. We're going to hang out here for a moment just to let our bodies adjust. Adjust to the way our blood is flowing, adjust to opening through the back of our heart. While your head is hanging here, you can play around with turning it in different directions. Always remembering to breathe, maybe checking in with that emotion if one came up during meditation. Release your grip on opposite elbows. Slide your hands up your feet, your shins, your knees, lifting your core, creating length from tailbone through the crown of your head in our halfway lift. As you exhale, bend in the knees until your hands reach the mat. You're going to walk your hands forward. And as you do so, send your left foot forward to the outside of your left hand. You can place your right knee down on the mat. We're coming into a lunge here. Our legs are going to stay on the mat. You can choose to keep your back knee on the mat and drop your hips down. Or you can choose to lift that back leg and then drop your hips down. Take a few breaths here, stretching your hips out. And then slowly lower your right knee down to the mat as you send your left foot back to meet your right foot. We're going to pause and pass through tabletop pretty quickly. So while you're here, bring your toes together behind you. Bring your knees wide to the edge of your mat. Press your weight back to sink your hips on top of your heels. Walk your hands forward and come into child's pose. Rest your forehead on the mat. Again, you can rock your head side to side, giving your forehead a little bit of a massage. As we go through the emotions today, this is a great place to come back to. Anytime you want to, you can come back to child's pose and stay here as long as you want. Taking a breath to gather some energy, inhaling, lifting your body weight up and forward. Tuck your toes behind you. You can reset your knees so they're under your hips. Shift your body weight forward as you slowly lower your upper body down to the mat. Your hips, your heels, your face are gonna stay lifted for just a moment here in our 8-limb pose. Then exhale, untuck your toes, lower your hips down to the mat. And you can even rest your face down on the mat. Hands are going to stay underneath your shoulders so that they're here. We can squeeze our legs together Squeeze our glutes together as we lift our chest, our chin, our shoulders to the sky, coming into cobra. Wiggling your fingers on the mat to make sure that you don't have any weight in your hands here. And exhaling back down to rest on the mat. Tuck those toes under. We're going to lift our body weight up. Passing again through tabletop today is just a transition pose for us. Lifting your hips to the sky, coming into our first downward dog of the day. In downward dog, we're creating length from our tailbone through the crown of our head. We're lifting our hips to the sky, pressing our shoulders down into the mat, making sure we're not rounding in our lower back, bending our legs if we need to. You can pedal out your feet, wake up your senses. From here, we're gonna bend in our knees, bending our knees wide as they lower down to the edge of the mat again. Sinking our weight back onto our hips, coming to rest in child's pose again. Child's pose is so great for down regulating, for resetting the nervous system. So again, you can stay here as long as you want. If you're ready, repeating on the opposite side, we're going to shift forward, reset our knees underneath our hips, and bring this time our right foot to the outside of our right hand. Again, you can stay here with your left knee on the mat and lower your hips down. Or you can tuck that back toe, lift that back knee, and then sink your hips down in our runner's lunge. Taking some breaths here, feeling that stretch. Lowering your left knee down to the mat, sending your right foot back to meet it. Walking your hands towards your knees with your toes tucked. We're going to lift our hips to the sky, coming straight away into a forward fold. Rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae, stacking our spine, letting our head and neck and hands dangle. Letting our head be the last thing that rolls up. And once our head reaches the top, we're going to inhale our arms up, clasping them together at the top, rolling our shoulders back for an upper back bend, tightening our lower core. Then exhaling our hands down to our side to reset in mountain pose. That's going to be our little vinyasa flow to help us reset in between the emotions that we're processing today: mad, glad, sad, and afraid. We'll go through it one more time, a little bit more quickly, so we can get the feel of that. Starting in mountain pose. Inhale, both arms up to the sky, clasping your hands together at the top, rolling your shoulders back. Exhaling, hinging at your hips into a forward fold. Inhaling, sliding your hands along your knees, your shins, lifting, pressing your crown of your head away from your body. Exhaling, bending in the knees, walking your hands along the mat, letting your left foot follow your hands to the outside of your left hand, and choosing which variation of a lunge you would like to do. Whatever your choice, go ahead and lower that back knee down to the mat. Send your left foot back, toes together, knees to the edges of your mat. Sink your weight back on your hips, coming into child's pose. Pressing up, shifting your weight forward, tucking those back toes, making sure your knees are now under your hips. Hips stay lifted as you lower your upper body down to the mat. Then exhale, lowering your hips and your ankles down to the mat. Inhale to lift your chest, coming into cobra. Exhaling, tucking those back toes, passing through tabletop, lifting your hips to the sky, coming into downward dog. Bending your knees to the edges of the mat, tucking those toes together, dropping back down into child's pose. Moving forward, lifting our body, shifting our weight forward, resetting our knees underneath our hips, sending our right foot forward to the outside of our right hand, and choosing your variation of lunge. If your knee was lifted, lowering it back down to the mat, sending that right foot back to meet your left, walking your hands closer towards your knees, sending your hips up first, down, forward fold here, not downward dog. Sliding up, rolling up, vertebrae stacking on top of each other. As your head comes up last, raising your arms up overhead, clasping them together. Reaching first, rolling your shoulders back. And exhaling your arms down, back into mountain pose. All right, the first emotion that we're going to play with, you can stay in the back of your mat. I'm just going to come to the middle so it's easier to see. You can go ahead and grab your pillow if you have one around you. Again, I'll cue if you don't have a pillow what you can do. First emotion we're going to play with is anger. So with anger, you can choose to upregulate your nervous system and feel some of the anger, or you can choose to downregulate your nervous system to help you make different choices with anger. If you're wanting to upregulate and feel a little bit, a good safe way to do that is pillow slams. So they look like raising your pillow up to the sky, flopping it down on the floor. As you plop it down on the floor, you're gonna swing your arms and let out a big breath. So all together, raising your pillow up, swinging your arms down, letting out a breath. We'll do this 3 more times. If you don't have a pillow, you can simply raise your arms up. Exhale your arms down. If you like lion's breath, breathing with your tongue out, making kind of a roar, you can do that. Inhaling up and breathing out. One more time, up and out. We'll move our pillow to the side. The second sort of upregulating anger thing that you can do is shaking, which is really, really, really great for the lymphatic system, which helps your body process any toxins that are inside of you, which is great because anger can store and release a lot of different things in your body. So take a moment just to bounce and shake and move. If any sounds want to come in, you can bring in the sounds. Our third anger tool is going to be more on the down regulating side. So when you have a lot of anger in your system and you actually need to down regulate to get some clarity, you can do our bamboo sways that we did last week by keeping both of your feet on the mat and shifting your weight side to side, bringing in your arms, essentially just allowing your body to release the rigidity of anger, to tap into a bit more flow. Great. All right, we're going to pause there. You can use those tools if you're feeling a lot of anger today. You can stay with those tools. The rest of us are going to reset, coming to mountain at the back of our mat, inhaling our arms up high, rolling our shoulders up and back for a mini back bend, and exhaling into our forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, bending in the knees, walking your hands forward as your left leg follows, coming into our runner's lunge. Planting your right leg down on the mat, sending your left foot back, sinking back on your heels, child's pose. Sending your weight forward, tucking your toes, hips stay lifted as you lower your upper body down. Exhale your ankles and your hips down to the mat. Inhale, lifting your chest, your chin, squeezing your legs together, cobra. And exhaling, tucking those toes, sending your hips up to the sky, downward dog. Bending in the knees wide to the edges of your mat, sinking back on your heels, coming into child's pose yet again. If playing with anger was intense for you, even just that little bit, you can choose to stay in child's pose as long as you need. Shifting your weight forward, this time bringing your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Choosing again a variation of lunge that works for you. Setting that back knee down, bringing your right leg back. Walking your hands to the back of the mat as you come up into a forward fold. Rounding through the spine, rolling up, 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 up. Inhaling those arms up. Clasping your hands together, rolling your shoulders back. And exhaling everything back down to mountain pose. Take a breath here. Find a moment of stillness. The next emotion we're going to play with is sadness. There's no obligation to feel any of these emotions or follow along with the tools. The first one we're going to use with our pillow, if you have it, we're just going to give it a hug and some rocking side to side. This creates a little bit of bilateral stimulation. If you don't have a pillow, again, you can just cross your arms in front of you, our hands on our chest. Our brain doesn't really know the difference when we're hugging ourselves or hugging another person. That's one option. Another option I'll come up here to demonstrate, which is just our angel wings, our bilateral stimulation. So one hand on top of the other, slowly tapping opposite shoulders. Again, adding in some bilateral stimulation. Doing this slowly helps down-regulate your nervous system, creates calming and soothing. The touch helps you feel supported. If your emotion that came up during the meditation today was sadness, you're welcome to stay with those somatic tools or just put them in your back pocket to use on another day next time you feel sad. We're going to reset again with our flow, starting in mountain pose at the back of our mat, inhaling our arms up, reaching up, rolling our shoulders back, mini back bend, and exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, moving into our left side lunge. Lowering that back knee to the mat. Left leg goes back behind you, meeting that right leg, sinking back on your hips. Forehead to the mat, child's pose. Lifting up, shifting your weight forward, tucking those back toes, upper body down to the mat, hips still lifted, and then releasing hips and ankles down to the mat. Squeezing your legs together, inhaling your chest up for cobra. Exhaling, tucking those toes, lifting those hips to the sky, passing through downward dog. Bending in the knees, moving through child's pose again, sinking those hips back, allowing your body to ground, your nervous system to reset. As you shift your weight forward, this time right leg comes forward, outside of your right hand, choosing your variation of lunge before sending your right foot back, walking your hands towards your knees, lifting those hips for a forward fold, and slowly rolling your way back up to the top. Inhale those arms high. Roll your shoulders up and back, mini back bend. And exhale your arms down to mountain pose. Our third emotion we're going to work with today is afraid, and then we'll end on joy. For afraid, one tool to use is chest compression. So crossing your hands in front of each other, keeping your palms flat, pressing into your chest for a few seconds, maybe 3, and then releasing that pressure. Doing a few rounds of this, pressing into your chest, and then releasing that pressure. Pressing into your chest. Pressure is really great for extra grounding. Sometimes it can be helpful with fear to not put pressure on the limbs so you can still feel like you can move. So pressure on the chest can be helpful. Another somatic tool for fear is grounding through your feet. So wherever you're standing on your mat, sending your awareness, your attention, your love into your feet, maybe rubbing your toes a little bit on the mat. Sending all of your energy into focusing on the sensations in your feet. If you need to experience more grounding and connection with fear, you can stay with these two tools, or you're invited to reset as we move through one more flow here. Inhaling your arms up to the sky, reaching up, rolling those shoulders back. Exhaling into your forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, walking forward to your front lunge. Choosing the variation that works for your body. Pausing for a moment before sending your left foot back, sinking your hips down in child's pose. Shifting your weight forward, upper body slowly lowers onto the mat. Then hips and ankles follow last. Inhale to raise your chest, your chin for cobra. Exhale, tucking those toes, sending your hips to the sky for downward dog. Bending in the knees, knees onto the mat, sinking back into your hips for child's pose. Staying here as long as you need. We're sending your weight forward. Right foot follows this time. Choosing a lunge variation on the right side. Bringing your knee back to the mat, sending that right foot back. Hips lift first for a forward fold and slowly rising up. Inhaling your arms up last. Reaching those arms up, rolling those shoulders back. And the exhaling palms forward back to mountain pose. For our joy expression, you can choose any expression of joy that you want. The two guided ones that I have to offer you today. One is the circle of joy, which is a yoga practice. You'll start by bringing your hands together up through your midline like we were doing in the beginning of practice today. Stop with your palms together at heart center. You can gather some warmth from your heart, gather some intention, gather some love, keeping your palms together. Press your hands forward until they can't reach anymore. Then begin to lift your hands up, reaching them back until your palms naturally start to spread apart. Cactusing your arms out to the side. And then gathering your palms together in front of you again. We'll do this 2 more times, nice and slow, pausing to gather energy from the heart before sending it forward, reaching your arms up, palms together as far as you can go back before your palms open, cactusing your arms to the side, gathering in front of you. One more time at your own pace. A nice, slow, joyful, loving. You can also use this practice to create a bubble of love around you. The next one is a more active tool called the breath of joy, which I learned from Robin Bjornson, who is a somatic practitioner here in Washington. It's a 3-part inhale breath and a 1-part exhale. So you'll be breathing in as you raise your arms up, breathing in as you open your arms out to the side, breathing in as you raise your arms up again, and then finally exhaling everything down into a forward fold. It happens quite fast since you're doing 3 inhales, and it looks something like this. Inhale, 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 exhale. All together. Inhale, 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 exhale. One more time. That one always gets my blood flowing, makes me feel a little bit dizzy, makes me feel a little bit heated, but is really helpful for regulating some of those emotions that come up with joy that might feel like they're a little bit too much sometimes, or might feel like they don't know how to express themselves, or it might just feel really good to get a little bit of extra oxygen inside of your body. We're going to come to a seated pose somewhere on your mat. The last little thing we do before Shavasana today. Go ahead and cross. Let's see, begin with your legs out at a 45-degree angle. Take your left foot, bring it into the inside of your right thigh, and then tuck it under your right thigh there. Your right knee is going to stack on top of your left knee, or just bring your left foot to the opposite side of your right foot to the opposite side of your left knee. Your right arm is going to reach up and then cross behind the back of your head or in between your shoulder blades. Your left arm is going to reach behind and under. It's all right if your fingers don't touch behind you. No need to have a strap here. In this pose, we're just focusing on feeling the support, the connection, and the grounding from our legs, focusing on feeling the openness and the spaciousness in our heart space. Unwinding. We're gonna repeat that on the opposite side. So this time bringing your right foot in towards your left thigh, then tucking it under, left foot over top of your right knee, knees stacked. Your, let's see, opposite side, left arm is gonna go up behind you, right arm is going to go down behind you. Breathing, seeing what's left over in your body, focusing on the support from the lower half of your body, the opening from the top half, and releasing all of this. Go ahead and come to a laying spot on your back and take a moment to take any last little movements, actions that you need right now. I always like to bring my knees to my chest, give my lower back a little massage. But listen to your body, figure out what left do you need to do to move, to reset. When you're ready to enter Shavasana, to make yourself comfortable, if your pillow is still around, you can use it under your knees or under your head. Traditional Shavasana pose, palms are up towards the sky as your arms are beside you. You can opt to do that. Or today, you can opt to lay on your side with your hand or shoulder underneath your head to support yourself in fetal position. Let your body integrate today's practice. Let your body gentle. My voice will guide you when it is time to come out of Shavasana today. For now, you can just let yourself be. You're always welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you want, as long as your body needs. Or you're welcome to come out and come back to your workday by wiggling your fingers and toes, bringing a little bit of rocking or a little bit of movement back into your body before you sit up. The invitation is to offer yourself a little bit of gratitude for your practice today, whether you do that with a hug, hands at heart center, a bow, any variation of appreciation that you have for yourself and how you showed up today. Next week, we will be doing a fun game, and we're going to learn a bunch of little animal poses, and I am very excited about it. It'll be more playful, fun, primal, somatic stuff for our last October version of this part of the series. So I hope to see you all then, and I hope you have a wonderful week in the meantime. Thanks, everyone.